deserve better. Chadwick has got to go.
What's up, everybody? Another beautiful day in Azeroth, and here's how to defeat heroic Mugsy. Starting off, the boss arena is split into a red and blue side. When a majority of player goes to red side, Mug's abilities activate. Majority on blue and Z's abilities activate, and in phase 2 you deal with all of those at the same time. And every time you swap sides, you get a stacking dot. Boss itself gains energy over time, and at 100 they wipe the raid. Swapping sides resets this, and also remove 10 stacks of Moxie from them, which is a stacking 1% damage buff, and it stacks every 5 seconds for the entire fight. You can never fully clear all, so raid takes more damage as the fight progresses. Starting off with some world marks. Like this. Then you want to split the raid in half. We'll refer to this as group A and B, and you want to start the fight on red. The 2 players that gets targeted by Earthshaker Gaol needs to put these on the marks. Make sure there's a little gap or space between the Gaols. If they overlap or boss is inside one of them, the goon ads will enrage. And group A and B each soaks one of the Gaols to split its damage. Tanks do not soak these. You want to interrupt and nuke down the Gaols Goon ad and watch out for its frontal. When it dies, everyone inside gets knocked away and break walls. It is extremely important that everyone just gets knocked out towards the middle of the room. You need to have some unbroken walls up to counter Frostshatter Boots. Players targeted by Frostshatter Boots needs to run behind these walls and line of sight the projectile. If a player gets hit, they get frozen for 30 seconds. So, yeah. Active tank also gets slapped with molten golden knuckles. Deals a ton of damage and knocks you far back, and covers you in stacks of golden drip. When you run, you lose stacks and spawn molten gold pools. And you need to drop all stacks within 12 seconds or you get stunned for 30 seconds. Aim to get knocked towards this area and then just run along the wall and paint something pretty. You have a lot of space you can use with this strat. Following this, boss moves up a bit and close to the middle line. During Stormfury Finger Gun, circles spawn all over the place and one player gets targeted by a cone that channels over 4 seconds and follows that player. Just stand still and everyone else just move away. Of course, dodge the swirls, but everyone should just move from that player. After Stormfury Finger Gun, you want everyone to move over to blue side to trigger Z before the boss gets 100 energy. On blue side, 2 Electro Shocker ads spawn. You want to pull boss to one of them and nuke it down. Wait for unstable crawler mines to spawn, then move boss to the next shocker ad. Crawler mines fixate and chase players. They can be crowd controlled, so stun, roots, etc. For these, you want to assign 4 mine sweepers to detonate them in a staggered fashion. Depending on gear and healer, you can probably pop 2 of them fairly fast, but after that, staggered. When you pop a mine, raid takes a ton of damage instantly, get a nasty dot and a healing absorb, and on heroic 2 circles spawn per detonated mine that needs to be soaked, or the entire raid takes a ton of damage. If the mines reach 100 energy, they become immune to crowd control and gain 200% increased movement speed, so you can't kite them forever. Now, it's very important that you don't accidentally pop mines, so as soon as they spawn, check where the circles are and never be near one, as it might fixate on you. When you're at the second shocker ad, one player gets targeted by Goblin-guided Rocket. Move this next to the wall in the back. This needs to be soaked by half the raid to split its damage, and you can only soak every 3 minutes. Now, there are currently 2 options to do this. Rockets on heroic will only target someone who doesn't already have the soak debuff. You can use this to ensure the third rocket, which overlaps with Gaols in phase 2, becomes less deadly. So the immunity strat here is have everyone except 5 immunity soakers soak the first rocket of the fight. One of the 5 who didn't soak are guaranteed to get the second rocket, and this will be immune by those 5 players and nobody else. And the jails in the third phase will be soaked by everyone except the immuners who soaked the second rocket. This way everyone in jail is safe and splits the damage. For the non-immunity strats, you have 2 groups. Group A and B. You want to make sure Group A soaks the left jail and B soaks the right jail for each set. Then you want to have Group A soak the first rocket and Group B soaks the second rocket. This guarantees that Group A will be soaking the third rocket in their jail in phase 2. Very important to stack some defensives and raid cooldowns for Group A on the third rocket, as there's a lot of damage going out during this overlap. Honorable mention, with enough DPS you can push boss to 40% before the second rocket and have everyone soak the first rocket in phase 1 and the rocket in phase 2. But you don't want to use Bloodlust to meet this DPS check. Now the Goblin-guided Rockets also spawns an ad that you need to cleave down, which will deal damage to random players and jump around. Following Goblin Rocket, a random player gets targeted by double Whammy, indicated by the giant line. This deals tank buster level damage to the closest or nearest player to boss inside the line, which needs to be a tank with a defensive, because it also deals damage to the original target based on tank's mitigated damage. The original target also gets an explosive payload circle. Move it away from boss. This can be used to detonate mines if you wanna. And for spray and pray, targeted player moves away and AFKs a bit while getting sprayed. Then you want to move boss back to red side before their energy caps out. This time you put the new goals right in front of the old goals, otherwise everything else is the same on this side. And you move to blue side again after finger gun. Pew pew. Second time you're on blue, you start on the same side ad and soak the rocket next to the old rocket puddle. At this point you might need to actually stop DPS on boss as they transition at 40%. And if you have any mines up, they all detonate and you die. So you want to push after second rocket with all or most of the mines cleared, or before the second rocket instead of mine spawn. During intermission, avoid the cones that the boss fires out as they spin around. They will continuously target random players' location and charge a bit before spinning some more, and it changes direction after every charge. So clockwise, then charge, counterclockwise. Now in this phase you get both Mugs and Z's abilities. You want to start on blue side and bait mines near the ad. I recommend popping Bloodlust in this phase as it is far more hectic than phase 1. For the mines in this phase, it's important that you leave 2 mines active for Frostshatter Boots, as you won't have any Gaol walls up for them. Players targeted needs to instead aim it into a mine and freeze it for 30 seconds. When Gaols go out, if you're doing the immunity strat, make sure the Gaols are close but not overlapping, and everyone except Immuner soak the Gaols, and the Goblin-guided Rocket will overlap both Gaols. And if not, make sure to have a gap between the Gaols, and Group A's Gaol will get the rocket. Now as soon as the goons are dead, you want to pop the last mines. Staggered. When new mines spawn, you just ignore them and root, stun, crowd control, etc. and just nuke down boss instead. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you want to help support my channel, check out my Patreon, Twitch, YouTube membership. You can gain access to the Stankie Discord, shoutouts and videos. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. It really helps me out. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next raid guide.